Round 2 of the AMA Motocross Series had its share of firsts. Ezra Lusk captured his first moto win of the year. Former 250 champion Jeff Emig got on track with his first moto win of the season. But it was the consistent rise of the new Team Honda member Kevin Windham that earned him his very first 250 overall victory. Whose turn is it next to step into the limelight in round 3? Defending champion Ricky Carmichael in the 125s goes for 3 in a row. AMA Motocross from Mount Morris is next. Hello everyone, Art Eckman, David Bailey and Davey Coombs from High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for round number 3 of AMA Motocross action. The 125 riders at the gate getting ready. There's Casey Johnson, Yamaha of Troy, and one of his teammates Ernesto Fonseca, a Supercross champion in the 125 division this year. Scott Sheik has looked stronger in the motocross season than the Supercross season, riding for Pro Circuit. As we take a look at the point standings, Ricky Carmichael dominating, has the 13-point lead over Tallon VOHLAND as we take a look at the top 10. Let's go down to Davey.
Final preparations being made down here on the starting gate, getting ready for the first 125 moto. Just like the first 2 rounds in California, we saw a lot of Ricky Carmichael and Tallon VOHLAND riding together in practice down here with Ricky. Ricky, does that bother you at all?
Not really, you know. I rode good here last year, and I felt great in practice. You know, I had one of the fastest lap times, so I'm excited and just going to go ride, worry about myself.
When VOHLAND does that to you, does that unnerve you at all, or you just feel like he's trying to, maybe that's a desperate act on his part?
I don't know. I think he's trying to have fun, but it doesn't matter to me. I worry about myself when I'm racing and nobody else. So.
Well, if the race is as good as what we've seen in practice, this one should be a barn burner.
Thank you, Davey. Let's take a look at this track. It's in immaculate condition.
You can see right there from the first corner. I've always loved this turn because if you don't get a great start, you can still make up a lot of time. Over here in the back section, you got the big downhill, the off camber, right back up. And this entire area here has been cleared of trees. So the spectators, it's a dream. They can see the entire racetrack. But the section we want to look at right now is this, what they call the gnarly downhill. And here it is from our helmet cam. You can see the ruts already starting to develop. Going to get rougher as the day goes on, and timing through there is going to be critical.
Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting grid now before we get into Moto 1. Carmichael 2 for 2 in wins. VOHLAND hanging right close, though, in second place in the points. Ernesto Fonseca and Casey Lytle, both of Yamaha of Troy. Brock Sellards, Casey Johnson should be contenders today. A look now at the rest of the 40-rider field. Nick Way, Michael Brandes, Scott Sheik.
Sheik, a former winner here, has got this track dialed in. He may be able to use this to get himself back in the points race.
And as we take a look at line number 31, it's number 909, Bob Moore, the FMF team manager, just going out for the fun of it, made the main event. 30-second board is up. The 125 riders are starting to gear up for the gate to drop on moto number 1. They're off at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. On the inside, Ricky Carmichael gets the whole shot. McCormick is right there. There's Fonseca, number 100, his best start of the year.
Kind of looked like he had the whole shot for a moment, but Carmichael just stole it from him. He can run anywhere on this racetrack in the opening lap. You can see that they work the track with the tractor. No ruts.
This will be interesting to see if Fonseca can hold with Ricky Carmichael. This is a great start for the young Yamaha of Troy rider. There's McCormick, number 36.
Well, Fonseca hasn't ever really had a look at Ricky like this in a race, so now we'll see if he can match his speed.
27, Brock Sellards just flying by. Not a bad start for Bob Moore. Tallon VOHLAND going through our picture. He's got some climbing to do, David.
Well, VOHLAND can definitely come through the pack. He showed us that at round 1 at Glen Helen, but Carmichael's got the whole shot this time, so chances of catching him if they're both running the same pace would be impossible.
Ricky Carmichael, our leader on the Suzuki leaderboard. And David, I'm not sure we'll ever find a better manicured track than this right here.
Oh, it is beautiful. And the fact they've taken out some of those trees I pointed out earlier, now you can see that almost the entire racetrack is just a dream for the spectator.
Brandis, number 49, starting to make a move on Lytle, number 33, as we go back to our leader, number 1, Ricky Carmichael. 2 for 2 on the season. Already with 2 championships in the 125 Nationals. That's Fonseca getting hounded by McCormick. McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington. He's on the Honda. Cuts to the inside, trying to take advantage of the young rookie from Costa Rica. McCormick the pass into second place.
That was beautiful. What happened, Fonseca dropped down into that little ravine. McCormick jumped it. Plus he had the inside line, so that was made that pass look easy, but that is tricky to hold the inside on that off camber.
So McCormick on the Planet Honda moves into second place, number 36. Now Fonseca's got Brandis at his rear, and Michael Brandis has had a good start on the season. And so it's Carmichael, McCormick, Fonseca, Brandis, and Lytle, our top 5. We'll be right back with more Moto 1 action from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, right after this. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. Welcome back to our opening moto of 125 action from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Ricky Carmichael starting to pull a lead on number 36, Jason McCormick in second place. Ernesto Fonseca, number 100, and that's Michael Brandis, number 49 in the Primal Suzuki. Ernesto Fonseca in 8th place in the first go-around, a 15th at Hangtown, a very disappointing one. Brandis to the inside. So Fonseca right now in the early going has lost a couple of spots very quickly.
Well, it looks as though McCormick and Brandis are trying to stay with Carmichael, and Fonseca's just trying to get comfortable out there. It doesn't seem like he has his lines coming together just yet. He better start attacking soon or these guys are going to disappear.
McCormick looking very sharp here in second place.
Just a beautiful layout here. Look at the soil everywhere, just watered perfectly. Kind of track that makes me sort of miss racing, I'll tell you that, Art. Couldn't be any better.
How'd you do at this track?
Oh, good and bad.
Awesome in the 500s.
On the 500s, I don't think I lost. Actually, I did lose one time, but I always liked it here.
Little fishtail from number 49, Michael Brandis, and Tallon Bolden is coming into our picture behind this group. He started out on the first lap in 8th position, and he's starting to make his way up toward first, second, third place riders.
Well, that just takes so much strength right there. The way those guys are jumping into that kind of a double dip there before they get into that off-camber corner, bottoming out the suspension, still trying to hold that inside line.
McCormick trying to put together his best performance of the young season here in round number 3. Brandis has already posted some fine finishes.
Working their way past the mechanics there. You can hear the crowd getting into it, sensing a pretty good battle shaping up for second.
McCormick, Brandis, Fonseca.
Opening up a little bit of a lead over Ernesto right now. 30-minute moto is a long time, though. Guys start to get tired, and the track here at Mount Morris changes quite a bit throughout the moto, so even if your lines don't come together right away, it's possible that they will by the end of the race.
There you see the interval from first to second place. Ricky Carmichael, our leader, as Brandis tries to pick up on McCormick. McCormick coming off a third-place moto, his best finish of the year at Hangtown in the second moto, and a 5th overall. So he's shown a little bit of what he's capable of. Can he hold off Michael Brandis now, though?
Brandis just seems to be on a roll. Already's getting stronger each week. And when you do that, your confidence builds, and then who knows? You get a good start like this. They're not losing as much time to Carmichael here just went by as I thought. So as long as they can stay in contact, they can make a move before this race is over.
Interesting topography on this course. Up and down. It looks subtle in some places, but you get on a bike and take a look at those ruts, and it's a total different story.
Well, line choice is very important. It's not as rough as I've seen it before. It'll get rougher throughout the day, but right here they go into a steep off camber and back up the hill. And if you don't get a good drive out of that corner to 125, you can lose a second right there. Another one of the most serious off cambers of anywhere on the circuit right here. Whoa.
Oh, McCormick goes flying down into the woods.
That was that section I talked about. There's Fonseca taking advantage. Well, these guys were just having it was a double dip, kind of a downhill. They're just G-forcing in.
And there's Tallon Vohland, 7-11.
Missing a shift. That'll cost him a little bit. McCormick is just gone for a woods ride.
They're calling for the safety workers to get down there. Let's take another look.
Well, watch what happens right here. He jumps into these ruts right here. He hits one crooked. Looks like Brandis does the same thing. McCormick takes out the fencing, and there's this tree right here is right in Brandis's way. So he had to put on the brakes. That's what enabled him to, or Fonseca rather, to make the pass.
And so our second place rider now is Fonseca. How quickly it can change. Look at the record crowd. This is our second record crowd in a row out of the 3 events so far this year.
Working their way down the gnarly downhill. This is the one we looked at through the helmet camera. Into another off camber.
Here comes Brandis sneaking up side by side. Can he hold on to that off camber? And Brandis with a fairly easy move to get in front of Fonseca. That surprises me there.
That was a little bit better line, I think, though, Art. I talked about Fonseca's lines not really coming together. That was a perfect example. Brandis was able to carry more speed down the hill, drift wide, and set him up better for the next corner.
So Michael Brandis now moving into second place, and Carmichael now is starting to move away.
That must be so frustrating for these guys. They're riding as hard as they can. It's a neat line right there by Fonseca.
Oh, Fonseca picking up some space now, making it close. Puts the throttle down, comes to the inside. Fonseca, back and forth we go for second place. With Ricky Carmichael now pulling way out in front. Our battle is for second. Ernesto Fonseca has just taken it away from Brandis. We'll be back.
Taking another look at this battle for second. Fonseca on the inside, bouncing a little bit higher through there. Brandis with the better line, able to make the pass. Then Fonseca coming right back. Shuts off the line of Brandis, clears the triple, pulls away again.
That's good to see Fonseca coming right back after being passed. That shows you the competitiveness of this young rookie who surprised really everyone, winning the 125E Supercross title in his very first professional season. There you see VOHLAND getting into the picture now on the trail. Fonseca, Brandis, and VOHLAND the order. Let's go down to the mechanics area. Davey Coombs with Kenny Germain.
Kenny, this is the best we've seen Ernesto ride outdoors so far.
Yeah, it's the best start he's gotten so far. So last race he fell in the first corner, both motos, so we're looking good. And now we'll see how good of a pace he can keep with these guys.
Why do you think he's having such a hard time transferring that Supercross speed to the outdoors?
Supercross, you can be real smooth and really use your head. Outdoors, you really got to let it hang out. He's just starting to get used to the difference.
As we see Fonseca, number 100, Ricky Carmichael is still our leader, of course. In fact, he's moved it up to about an 18-second lead over Fonseca and Michael Brandis.
These guys have been racing with each other. Haven't focused too much on the faster pace of Carmichael, but they're going to have to start paying attention to the fast pace of VOHLAND because he caught him quick.
Brandis to the inside, passes Fonseca. VOHLAND is right there. Can he take advantage of the situation? VOHLAND coming back from the World GP circuit to ride for FMF this year. They were hoping he would excel in the outdoors. Had a tough time of it in a few Supercrosses he participated in. Sat back, got into shape, and really is aiming for this particular series. Here comes VOHLAND. That's Fonseca. Tallon VOHLAND moves into third place.
That was just aggressive riding.
And Brandis not that far away either.
No, he positioned himself right to the inside, just out-braked him into the corner.
So after a good Brandis-Fonseca battle back and forth, we've got a triad now going at it.
Downhill so tricky. Starts to get these little kicker bumps. They're about like a curve, and hit those things at speed. It's hard to keep the bike tight, especially as fast as VOHLAND came down the hill.
Now VOHLAND in his ride today looks more controlled than the last two events.
He does look a little smoother. Good line right there, because if you do make a mistake and the bike bounces, you still end up in the groove. If you aim for the groove and the bike bounces a little wide, you're down there in the soft stuff and you lose a lot of time.
Tallon VOHLAND, number 711. Didn't take long to win his first moto, coming back to America.
So I think going back to your analysis of his style, Art, is that sometimes you can ride at the pace that it's necessary to win and he looks smooth. But the thing with Tallon is that he doesn't care what it looks like. He just cares how fast he's going, if it's fast enough to win the race, and he will push it and let it hang out a little bit more. That's what Fonseca wasn't prepared to do, and now you see the difference.
Well, his experience really showed true in that second round at Hangtown in the first moto, David, when Ricky Carmichael gave him all kinds of pressure and he didn't crack.
Now he is tough. He is actually a little tougher than I thought he was going to be. I knew he'd be fast, but I didn't think he was going to be this consistent.
We saw his brother a little bit earlier in the pits. A big help to Tallon.
Whoa, Brandis made a mistake there.
And Tallon takes advantage of it. VOHLAND has not placed lower than second in any moto except for one time, and that was the very first moto of the season. Let's go down to Davey in the mechanics area now.
Good start for Michael. He's on the same pace as Carmichael and VOHLAND right now.
Yeah, Carmichael's kind of got out of the way a little bit, but if he can stay right there with VOHLAND in the hunt, and we'll do all right for this moto. Look for more in the next one.
What happened to Michael in the second moto at Hangtown? He rode real well the first time, just didn't seem to have it the second time.
We had a little bit of bike problem. We got a hold of some bad gas, and hopefully we've remedied that problem.
VOHLAND riding for FMF. And his boss, the team manager, is currently in sixth. Tallon's the only rider for Bobby Moore in front of him.
Well, Bobby, it's hard to say exactly what all of his motivations are for going out there and race, but one is he loves it, and he feels like he's still in good enough shape with enough experience to beat these kids, and he's proven it pretty much so far.
He's been looking very fast in practice against his team.
VOHLAND just getting a beautiful drive out of that corner on the off camber. His lines are coming together, a straight line through there.
And here's our leader, Ricky Carmichael. Looking smooth as ice on this rutted track.
Well, now you can see why he's pulling away. You watch VOHLAND, he looks like he's going fast. You watch Carmichael, he looks like he's going a little bit faster and smooth.
And here's Jason McCormick now. They fished him out of the woods, and he's got his senses back. New set of goggles for Jason. And we go back to the guy that just doesn't need a new set of goggles.
I don't think he's needed a tear-off yet, Art.
There's nobody in front of him to throw any dirt in his way. So Ricky Carmichael continues to dominate here with the 125 seen in our opening moto, and we'll be right back with more action from High Point Raceway in a moment. It's a beautiful day for racing in the state of Pennsylvania's Ricky Carmichael in the first moto here with the 125s, a dominating lead, looking so smooth. He's only lost one moto this year. There's Chad Watts, his mechanic. I've never seen him so relaxed either.
Well, this has gone a lot better than some of the other races, that's for sure. Ricky got the whole shot, pulled away. He hasn't had any real challenges. Probably nothing much he can even put on the signal board for him.
Tallon VOHLAND, number 711, in second place with Michael Brandis now in third. Brandis trying to get back up there and challenge Tallon now.
I'll tell you what, Art, I'm impressed that he's holding this close for this long. I thought VOHLAND, the way he caught him, Brandis wouldn't be able to hang with him, and he has. It's giving him a whole new look at this racetrack. Look at that, he's copying his lines exactly. Getting on the power a little bit earlier through there. It's always good to ride with somebody that's a little bit better than you are. If you can hang with them and learn, this will work wonders for him in the second moto and the end of this one.
The two riders passing a lapper now in their battle for second place. Brandis to the inside. He's got a good line, and Brandis retakes second place.
That's got to feel good.
You know Tallon's not going to let him off the hook.
No, Tallon's going to bother him the rest of the race, but still, it's get back in there and make a race of it. Get the crowd into it a little bit. It's exciting.
And look at this. Nathan Ramsey has picked up several spots. Fonseca has been losing a few. And we've got the two 125 Region Supercross champions battling it out.
Both these guys definitely needed a much better finish. Ramsey's had to come from pretty far down, but these guys are starting to climb the ladder and get back into this points race.
It's taken about 6 laps for Ramsey to chase down his Supercross rival. We talked with the two about adjusting to motocross.
Determined to do what it takes to get back up there and win this series.
Ramsey starting to challenge the Fonseca now. Ramsey winning the shootout, the 125 Supercross shootout in Las Vegas between these two. We're on the final lap now for Ricky Carmichael, way out in front. He's ready to nail down his 4th moto win in 5 tries.
He sure has it figured out. Whether he gets the start or not, he seems to find his way to the front and just been able to cruise the last laps most of the time like this and just enjoy the racetrack, search for any lines that may come in handy in the next moto. You can see from that little uphill, some ruts starting to develop getting into the corner.
For the geriatric fans, Bob Moore has gone down, and it looks like he's pulling off the track. As we take a look at the battle for second place once again, Tallon VOHLAND trying to get it back again from Michael Brandis. This has been a back-and-forth battle if you just joined us here in the first moto of the 125s. Brandis number 49, Primal Suzuki. Here's Ricky Carmichael almost to the finish line. The checkers are waving, and Ricky Carmichael has won it again. He continues his domination of the 125s. Look at that, Nathan Ramsey has passed Fonseca for 4th place. So it's Carmichael, Brandis, and VOHLAND, our top 3. Let's go back down to Davey now, who's over at the winner's podium.
Rick, another fantastic effort here at High Point. You look like you were shot out of a gun at the start.
Yeah, man, my Kawasaki Bridgestone tires is hooked up out of the gate, and I'll tell you what, it felt good to come around that first turn first, man. It's been a while, and it ain't nothing like a rush like that, but you know, I had fun, and looking forward to doing the second moto.
We talked to your mechanic, Chad, during the moto, and I asked him about Tallon VOHLAND. He said, you know what, Ricky don't care about Tallon. He's racing the track. That time looked like you killed the track.
Yeah, I totally raced the track that time, and the track's getting rough, but looking forward to it.
Good job, Rick.
Thanks.
Well, we saw all kinds of battles behind number 1, but Ricky Carmichael continues to stack up the victories in the 125s. Moto 2 coming up. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. See the incredible new 1999s at your dealer now. Welcome back to High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Art Ekman and David Bailey between motos, and gee, after that first moto, Ricky Carmichael just dominating. He's won 4 motos out of the 5 motos so far this year, David.
He is the dominant factor in the class, but Tallon VOHLAND has stayed so close that he can't afford to back off. He's got to push because the points are still pretty close.
Did it surprise you that you see Brandis and VOHLAND up there rather than some of the other riders?
Well, absolutely. I mean, VOHLAND I knew would be fast here and there, but he has actually proved himself to be fairly consistent as well. And I don't know, I thought Casey Johnson and riders like Nathan Ramsey and Fonseca would be more of a challenge for Carmichael to this point.
Well, they had their best results so far this season. The 2 Supercross champions finally getting tuned up to motocross, I guess.
Well, Ramsey really came from behind and was able to make the pass on Fonseca towards the end, and it's still not good enough. He's still losing points to his teammate, so he's got to step it up.
Let's get back to the action. Get nervous time here in the second moto, as the 125 riders leaning in. The countdown is ready. The gate drops, and we are off with moto number 2. Oh, Ramsey with a great start this time. He's been working on those starts, David. Michael Brandis is right there, too. Number 25, Nathan Ramsey. Number 49 is Michael Brandis, once again out near the top.
Looked like Brandis started to go early, and he managed to get his composure and still get a good reaction.
Casey Lytle also up there. Yamaha Troy rider is number 33 behind these two. Watch the move now by Brandis, cutting to the inside. Nathan Ramsey now quickly in second place.
Well, Brandis just operating on a lot of confidence right now, just attack. I think up until recently, he may have been content to sit there in second behind Ramsey to see how things played out. There goes Carmichael.
VOHLAND moving into third.
Look how far back Carmichael is. Right here, he's dead last going into the first corner, but watch how smart he is. He's going to cut to the inside and pass all these guys and come out in pretty good shape. Not bad for a last place start. That's what I love about the first corner here at Mount Morris. You make up a lot of time.
You got a lot of room to maneuver. So far, we've had a very, very clean race. Jason McCormick in the first moto going off the track. Here's Michael Brandis in the lead with Ramsey 25 in second place. Fonseca had his best start of the season in the first moto, and Ramsey gets his best start here in Moto 2. There's Carmichael already knocking on the door of Casey Lytle, number 33.
Just such smart riding by Carmichael. Oh, right there, across the inside of that off camber. Picks off another one. So now from a last place start off the gate, he's in fourth, the first lap. That's why this guy has the number 1.
It's amazing. It made Casey Lytle look like a blur.
Look how hard it is for these guys to get over the doubles. What happens between motos, they put a little water on the racetrack. These guys are getting some wheel spin on the faces of the jumps. After the first lap, that'll all get worked in. A big advantage, though, to get the lead. Brandis out in front doesn't have all that roost, that fresh water track coming up in his face. He'll have more vision left for the rest of the race.
Brandis hitting that rut just perfect, but now Tallon VOHLAND is starting to put the heat on it.
Look at that rich, loamy soil. They disc up between motos to get rid of the one-line situations.
There's Casey Johnson behind his teammate Casey Lytle. Look at this. Carmichael and Ramsey. You can't get two better competitors than this. On the same pro circuit team, Carmichael to the inside over the jump, moves up another notch.
That's just beautiful. I mean, you can write that down on paper. You can talk about squaring riders off. This is what you do. You go wide, you cut back. There's just a perfect example right there.
So while the battle rages for third, we've got a battle for first. VOHLAND to the inside. Brandis holding on.
Well, he held him off the first moto. He figures he probably ought to be able to do it again. Riding right there, smart, all the way down that inside, taking away that option.
Rough terrain.
Hard it is, getting a lot rougher. Line choice is going to be more important, and all those lines that Brandis learned from VOHLAND in the first moto, he's using against him now, so he's taking away his passing options. Well, till there.
Look at that. Tallon VOHLAND is now our new leader.
That was just aggressive. VOHLAND came out of that corner and said, I don't care how hard I land off this jump, I'm just going to out-jump him, and it worked.
VOHLAND, a third in the first moto. So in order to take the overall, he has to hold on to the lead and hope that Ricky Carmichael finishes right where he is now, which is
a prayer.
A prayer. You took the words out of my mind.
It can happen, though. Brandis has really stepped it up, and VOHLAND wants it. He'll do whatever it takes.
And so the stage is set for a crackerjack finish here in the second moto of 125 action. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs at High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. The second moto of 125 action. Don't forget, stay tuned. The 250s are coming up next. It's been a wild 250 season so far. Michael Brandis trying to hold on to second place, but Ricky Carmichael is right there. Tallon VOHLAND, who's trying to challenge Carmichael for the points battle, is out in front.
In the early part of these motos here at Mount Morris, the way they work the track over, they take away some of the berms and let the lines develop again, and they do, but for the first 2 or 3 laps, these guys are just pegged wide open. They can run anywhere they want on the track till they get to some of these tricky spots.
Boy, on those off cambers, David, the weight displacement has got to be. Whoa, Ricky Carmichael fishtailing a little bit there, got caught in a rut.
Made up time, though. I think that's all he really cared about.
Just kept looking ahead.
Yeah, if you can't ride off cambers well or a little bit uncomfortable with them, you're going to struggle here at Mount Morris because just about every corner is an off camber.
There's the red streak of the FMF Honda in first place going by. Brandis and Carmichael. So it appears that VOHLAND is pulling out in front. Here's the battle for second place. Ricky Carmichael, what a leap. Came down hard on that suspension.
Well, that's the same way that VOHLAND was able to make the pass. Carmichael saw it, did the same thing, just on the other side of him. And both those guys had to bottom out when they landed to make that pass, but that's what it takes. You got to go a little bit over the edge to make a pass stick out here when these guys are all running such a fast pace.
So Ricky Carmichael now in second place has the fans wondering. Maybe Tallon Vohland doesn't know it yet as we take another look.
Well, look at the difference in riding posture right there. It looks to me like Carmichael just means business. Crouched in, accelerates all the way into that dip, wide open off the jump, out jumps him, and then he reaches up in the air to, I don't know what the heck he's doing there. He's not clearing his vision. He just always reaches up and fiddles with his helmet. It's become a habit.
So the challenge is on now. Can Tallon Vohland hold off Ricky Carmichael like he did at Hangtown? If it stays the same position, Carmichael will still win the overall. But what valuable points number 711 could pick up here if he can hold him off.
Plus just the moto win, what that does for your spirits and what that will do to Carmichael's head. Going through one of the sections now, you can hear the people starting to sense a battle. Carmichael coming in, start to challenge Vohland now.
Vohland concentrating, focusing, trying not to make that mistake that'll give valuable seconds to Ricky Carmichael. When Carmichael moved into second place, Tallon had a 5-second lead on him. Right now, it's been cut down to less than 3. Let's go down to Davey now with Tyson.
Tyson, it's a great start for Tallon. He's out front, but I got to ask you, how did he feel health-wise between motos? You said he'd been sick.
Yeah, he was a little tired after the first one. He's had a little throat problem. He says he has enough energy for the moto. We know Ricky's extremely fast here, but we're going to give him a heck of a battle here in the second race.
Well, you got to say one thing about the Vohland's attitude. They never give up.
Well, plus I think part of that throat problem was stemmed from the fact that he was sick during the week off, so he may not be 100%. I mean, I'm sure he's inspired with the lead right now, but it definitely had to take him out of his normal practice routine. And towards the end of this moto, when Carmichael will be all over him, it appears, maybe his stamina won't be what it's been in the past couple of weeks.
Good shot of the interval between first and second place is Carmichael now picking and choosing.
Look at him work that bike, try to get the power down. Sometimes just moving over 2 inches to miss a rock or something that'll give you a little wheel spin or make that wheel come off the ground makes the difference of a couple of miles an hour going up that hill. Looks like Danny Smith.
Danny Smith of FMF is down.
At the bottom of the big downhill, the off-camber corner, got in there and the front wheel washed out. Lucky he didn't get run over right there.
So the young man from Idaho now getting back on the track as we take a look at Ricky Carmichael in second place, but he's drawing ever so close now to Tallon Vohland.
I think Tallon is pushing Carmichael to the point where he's starting to make a mistake here and there, having to really run much faster pace than he did in the first moto. It's nice when you can get out to the lead, cruise, and you don't have any challengers. It looks for another time right there, his feet came off the pegs. Just little things like that. It doesn't slow him down or scare him, but it's things that didn't happen to him in the first moto. Now he's really having to push.
I'm impressed with Tallon Vohland, able to stay out that interval to 2 or 3 seconds right now. He's putting the challenge to Ricky Carmichael rather than the other way around.
Well, that's good. I think as much as people adore Ricky, and I'm also a big fan of his, it's nice to see him challenged. You want to see a great race, and Tallon has been the only guy so far in the season to really step up and challenge him.
A lot at stake for Ricky Carmichael, too, as he continues to waltz through the record book. This will be his final full season in the 125s in motocross. Tallon Vohland, our leader, with Carmichael and Brandis, the top 3. Ramsey in 4th, just like he was in moto number 1. Welcome back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, the second moto of the 125s. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs bringing you the action. Ricky Carmichael trying to put the heat now on Tallon Vohland. Has picked up some space between the two, as you see right there, almost rubbing the back rubber of Vohland. So the battle is on now. The serious battle is on.
I think Vohland knew he was coming. He may have just sort of bided his time and tried to get ready for the battle. I talked to McGrath about that after the first race at Glen Helen. He said when he saw Tortelli coming, he sort of backed off a little bit and just got ready. Tallon may have done the same thing.
Ricky Carmichael now cuts to the inside. Oh, what a move by Carmichael. Almost like he deked him one way and went the other.
He did. Look at Tallon, comes right back.
Back and forth we go. Ricky Carmichael looks back at him. Oh, the crowd is going crazy. Carmichael holding the edge right now, but VOHLAND is right there. Look at the speed in the corner. Well, Carmichael won't give him a chance right here to come back.
Well, these guys are at their maximum capacity. Let's take another look at the pass. Carmichael makes the double, then he squares to the inside. VOHLAND's committed to the outside line. Carmichael right down the inside. The better line on the power. Makes it stick. And then he reaches up again and messes with his helmet. Look at the body English of VOHLAND. All the way down, trying to keep that bike low. And it worked. He got him back.
Carmichael looking for the sweep. Tallon VOHLAND wants to take it away from him. While this great battle ensues, let's check in now with Davey Coombs in the mechanics area.
Wow, Chad, now that was some action right in front of us. Ricky and Tallon getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, they both put some good moves on each other here, and they were clean. Neither one was dirty with each other. So it's going to be a tight race. I mean, it's kind of good to get a few second gap. I ain't saying we are or we ain't, but if you get a little bit of a gap, you can calm down and ride a little bit better.
There's no question that Tallon VOHLAND has ridden with a certain amount of consistency, but when you turn to Ricky Carmichael, it's consistent brilliance.
He has just stepped up his whole game, too. And Tallon has forced him to do it. I like to see that. I like to see the challenges put to the best riders. See how fast they can go. And right now, I think they're going about as fast as you can go around this Mount Morris racetrack. I mean, they've put so much time on Brandis, who led early. It's ridiculous. Brandis is riding a good race.
That he is, David. It's good to see, too. After tailing off at the end of the Supercross season, he's come back very, very strong here in the outdoors.
Sometimes you just need a new series.
Ooh, Paul Curry on the sideline trying to restart.
Looks like he may have seized it. Sometimes you let those things cool off a little bit and you can kickstart it and ride it back to the pits. That doesn't happen very often on the 250s. These 125s are just running hot.
The Suzuki stopwatch. We check out the intervals from first to, let's go back to 5th place.
Carmichael has opened up that 3.5 second gap over VOHLAND that Chad was hoping for. These guys, you can see that they have pushed each other so hard. Still no Brandis.
They've completely removed themselves from 3rd place. There's Michael Brandis coming through.
Almost 30 seconds.
There's Nathan Ramsey, 33 seconds. He's in 4th place. And Casey Johnson coming around the turn. So 39.72 seconds separating the top 5 riders.
Oh, in Casey Johnson's position, you just hate to come in from a race like that and go, who won? I mean, when you're so far out of it, you can't tell. I've been there, and it is no fun.
Let's turn back the pages of Mount Morris history. For this week's Suzuki Flashback, we're going to look at the 125 National from Mount Morris in 1995 on a very rainy day. Moto 1 didn't get off to a good start for number 9 Ryan Hughes crashing on the first lap. Number 12 Damon Huffman would also find himself on the ground in Moto number 1. Mike Brown, number 26, would take the checkers, picking up the win in the opener. Moto 2 was the same for Hughes, crashing in a huge pile on the first lap that would hurt his 125 title hopes, losing it by only 5 points at the end of the year. Number 23, Tim Ferry on his Suzuki would get the whole shot and the early lead. For the halfway point in Moto 2, number 101, the Frenchman Mikel Pichon would catch and pass Ferry for the lead. On this day, Ferry's 2-2 moto finish would be good enough for his first and only national overall in the 125 class. Tim Ferry just signing a midseason contract with Chaparral Yamaha. He'll be coming up in the 250 race. Here in the 125s, this is Nick Way, Split Fire Pro Circuit, currently in 6th. His teammate, Scott Sheik, or one of the teammates anyway, is right behind him in 7th place. As exciting as these races look on TV, they're even more exciting in person. Check out the motocross schedule now. Southwick, Budds Creek, Buchanan, Unadilla. We all end up in Delmont, Pennsylvania for the final round. Back finishing up the second moto of 125 action, and it's Ricky Carmichael. He led every lap after getting the whole shot of the first moto. Had a 14-second lead by the halfway point, went on to victory. Here he had to work for it a little harder.
Quite a bit harder, I'd say. He's still riding hard. Look at him, he is pushing, trying to open up a big lead and just take away all the hopes of VOHLAND. If you're feeling good, and you know you're in good enough shape to go the distance, why not just open up a huge lead, make it a blowout, and just ruin all the confidence of your competitor? Looks like that's what he's doing right now.
Last year, Carmichael was 1-1 here at Mount Morris, and it looks like he'll do the same for the second year in a row. Tallon VOHLAND in second place, number 711. He's ridden a good race, just as you said about Brandis.
Well, he might be able to look back and say he didn't come in here with the high hopes of being able to just take a couple of moto wins because of his being sick and not being 100%. I don't think he wanted to make that into an excuse, but deep down that had to affect him a little bit.
Casey Johnson in fifth, number 16. Still recovering from that Supercross injury that took him out of the Supercross season.
As long as he doesn't start doing worse, you know, I think that he can have some high hopes for the season. Tyler Evans,
a victim of this high point track. There's number 49, Michael Brandis in third. Rather lonely ride for him right now.
Yeah, that's just track time, really. Nobody to catch him. Just a good workout. Yeah, I think going back to Casey Johnson, you know, I think he's just going to steadily improve throughout the season. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, really. And I know that he's got the stuff to go out there and win some motos. It's just going to be a matter of conditioning and kind of racing himself back into shape. He was out for a pretty long time.
Brandis looking for his first podium of the year overall. As we take a look at Nathan Ramsey in fourth.
Much better ride for Nathan. He just had horrible luck. Both motos going down to the first corner at the opener, coming off that Supercross title. And the shootout in Vegas, I thought, boy, Ramsey's going to give Carmichael fits. Everyone, I think, thought that, but then no way to do it coming from dead last, opening motos of the series. He's starting to find his stride.
A good friend of his got it right out of the corner of his eye. Buddy Anthonez coming up on Ricky Carmichael. Anthonez has been lapped, but they're pretty good friends, number 54. Ryan Clark going down.
Another one of those tricky off-cameras claiming a victim. Carmichael doing a little bit of what they call goon riding for the benefit of Buddy Anthonez. I don't know if Anthonez really appreciates that or not, being lapped. These guys horse around like this in practice, and Carmichael has earned a big enough lead where he can afford to.
Does he tell him to go on?
Yeah, he wants to give him another lap in case he can pass more riders and move up. As soon as you've been lapped, that's it. As soon as the leader goes across the finish line, you're done.
And that's the case with Ricky Carmichael. At leisure, coming across the finish line, getting the checkered flag, has the 1-1 sweep for the second time this year. He has now won 3 in a row. Carmichael, VOHLAND in second, Michael Brandis in third. Nathan Ramsey holding on to fourth, with Johnson rounding out the top 5. Let's go to Davey.
Mike, congratulations. Your first pro podium, I think.
Yeah, it is for sure. It feels really good. I had some in the Supercross, but outdoor, you know, I've always wanted to be up here on the podium. The outdoor, I like the outdoor a lot more than the Supercross, so I'm definitely happy to be here, and hopefully have a few more of these this year.
Tell you what, after that whole shot in the second moto, or at least a good start there, we thought you were going to be up there with Ricky and Tallon, but it seemed like you may have lost the pace.
Yeah, I got out front. I was feeling comfortable. I wasn't quite running the pace they had, so they were slowly pulling me. And I didn't want to jeopardize anything by pushing it and going down. You know, I'll settle for a third place and take the podium spot. It's definitely good to help out in the points. You know, maybe later on towards the end of the season, if it comes down to it, you know, wick it up and take some chances. But right now, just trying to get some points.
All right, congratulations on third.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it was a good race for about 4 laps, with Ricky Carmichael finally taking the inside pass and moving into first and taking away with it. VOHLAND in second, Brandis with a 2-3, taking a third overall. Let's go back to Davey.
Ricky, before the start of that second moto, I said the only thing that might be able to beat you was a crash in the first turn. Well, you didn't get that. You got a bad start, though, and still, it came out okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my Kawasaki Bridgestone bike was running good, and thanks to Fox and Oakley and Bell Helmets and, you know, everyone who helped me get here. I'll tell you what, I've been working hard, and I turned it around this weekend and showed him his boss. And you know, I'm glad I went 1-1. It's really important, you know. But Tallon's riding good, and every moto counts. And
Talk about showing him his boss. Whenever you guys had that little mix-up there in the middle, going back and forth, tell us about that.
oh, it was pretty fun. You know, I was just trying to have fun, and you know, that's what racing's about, having fun. And you know, I figured that I better not play around too long because he get in that pace and it'd be hard to pull away. But I felt good, and looking forward to the next race, and hopefully I'll pull through.
Turning it around. Come on, Ricky. Wins his 5th moto in 6 tries, his 3rd consecutive